Well, let's do some yoga together. So we're gonna lie down. Not for too long, but let's get situated here on our back. Let the arms open out. And we're going to let the knees just very gently fall together to get started. And if that just feels like too much of a stretch somewhere, you can walk the feet closer together. If you don't get any feedback from that move, you could walk your feet a little further apart. And once this pose feels more or less put together, let's just go right to the bullseye of our attention getting focused in on the breath. Keep that attention centered on your breathing sensations. Just see if you can encourage an inhalation that moves calmly. Maybe the breath itself induces calm. And as you exhale, as expiration happens, facilitate a sense of ease. Just follow that last few rounds, and perhaps it even turns into a little mantra. The voice in your mind would recite the word calm during inhalation, and the voice in your mind would recite the word ease during exhalation. Rather keep the voice in your mind a little quieter and just try to feel, sense get the tactile experience of calmness arising during inhalation and easefulness manifesting during exhalation. However you like it to transpire, last few rounds. All right, everybody. So from here, hopefully we're all still together. So from here, just let your head rock a little side to side, a lot amount side to side. So it feels like a nice comfortable stretch at the end range. She may or may not have a little arc where the chin dips down more at the shoulder. Last couple. When you work your way back to center, everybody, bring the hands, arms straight up. And then don't push it too quickly. But just reach those arms, flex those arms overhead. So don't insist that they touch the ground. Just kind of flirt with your edge. And then bring the arms back skyward. And then we'll just take it a little further when you flex overhead. Maybe get the thumbs to touch the ground. And when you extend back down, let the pinkies come all the way down along your side. So big full ranges at this point, from ground to ground. Okay, let's try one more. Oh my, yeah, that feels good. All right. Now from here, everybody, we're just going to extend both legs out. Go back to flexing both arms overhead. And reach out through all four limbs. So you get a little squeeze and push out through the tip of your tail. Extend that current of energy down and out the legs and out the toes. Get a little draw in and up through the pubic bones and the navel, and extend that energy up through the sides of the waist and up and out your arms and fingers. Feel free to spread your fingers and spread your toes. Keep that left side long, at least your leg. And we're going to flex, hug the right knee toward the chest, Apanasana. Left side stays long, right side's got a nice big hug. Oh. Let's go back to getting long on all four limbs. This time, keep that right leg nice and long. Hook your left leg in.
I want to try it today. If I don't catch a fish, okay. It's okay. The only thing I want to catch, this is level
1. Okay. Let's release that. Let's go back to all four limbs nice and long. Right? Let's go back to catching the right knee. This time we're going to catch from the back of the leg instead of the top, so from the knee joint. So 3 different moves here, y'all. You want to hug your bent knee towards your chest. Any amount she'll go. Maybe laid out on your ribs. You want to push your bent knee away from your body. Or at least toward a different part of your body, down toward your left foot. How far do you push your leg? Until your arms get straight. So it's really dictated by arms, not leg. And then at that point, leg goes straight up to the sky. Right? So we go bend, hug, maintain the bend, but push, maintain the push, but straighten. 5 more. Hug, push, straighten. Pull, push, straighten. 3 more. Pull, push, straighten. 2 more. Last one. Oh man, that feels good. Let's get all 4 limbs long again. Keep that right leg nice and long. Hug the back of the left knee towards your chest. The whole left leg comes in, but your catch is at the back of the knee. 3 distinct phases. Hugged with flex. Bent with a lot of hug in. Bent with more of a push forward. And then push forward, but with a straightening. Oh my God, that one's tight. 5 more. Pull, push, straighten. Pull, push, straighten. 4 more. Last one. Oh, man. All right, everybody. Let's extend all 4 limbs one more time. And please bend both knees so you plant the feet flat. Lower both arms down along your side so they're extended, i.e. reaching down towards your feet. And then reach the right arm all the way overhead and turn your head left. Reach the right arm all the way to your feet and turn your head center. Reach the left arm all the way overhead, turn your head rightward. And let the left arm come down along your feet as you turn the head center. Integrate breathing. Inhale through the length of the reach and the turn. Exhale through the length of the downward reach and the centering turn. Inhale through the upward reach and the sideways turn. Exhale through the downward reach and the centering turn. 2 more. One more per side. Oh, God, it feels so good. Last one. All right, last little set, then we're moving on. We're going to add the legs. So you're going to reach right arm to the sky, left leg to the sky. Turn your head all the way to the left, arm all the way overhead. As you lower arm, center your head, bend and lower your leg. Forget the breath synchronization. There's too much to do with just the limbs. So left arm rises overhead. Right leg goes up and down like a flagpole. Head turns away.
The thing would always drop out of the bag.
Yeah.
Guess
Left
what
arm
the
comes
thing
back
is
down.
with that on the big truck?
Right leg comes back down. Head comes back to center. 2 more. Yeah, that feels good. One more per side. Oh, man, that feels good. All right. Last set here, everybody. We're going to do a couple bridges, and then we're going to transition up. So, you can do 10 bridge poses any way you like them. Arms along your side. Hands on the thighs. Hands bound up to the sky. These are obviously different options. Arms along your ears. Arms bound under the tail. Kind of cumbersome to move them though every time you come down. Did I say 10 bridges? Okay, cool. We're just going to do that 3 times. All right, snuck that in. So that's 3 sets of 10. I'm on set number 2, about halfway through. So to reiterate, you're on course for 10 bridges times 3. You've got some options. How you apply your bridge. Oh, how high up to come. Oh, goodness. Where to place your arms. Shh. Down to the last set of 10. You could even add extra challenge and try one-legged bridges, but just a nice, healthy dose of strong 2-legged bridging's great too. Oh, God. All right. After that next one, everybody. Ooh. We're gonna roll off to one side. All right. And let's come up to all fours. Oh my God. I just love bridge pose. It's so darn effective. Hopefully your buns are kind of feeling that 30 repetition version of bridge. Anyway, all right, so now we're assuming the quadruped shape. And let's do some back and forth, some hip rocking. Wrist accommodations, be on your fists, be on your fingertips, use a set of dumbbells, even go all the way down under your forearms, possibly even forearms up on yoga blocks so your trunk stays high. I think most of you are probably getting pretty comfortable with this if you've been taking classes from me for a while, but it's often not done in typical yoga classes for whatever reason. Just this all four move like a slingshot, pre-cat and dog. It's really what it's doing is reinforcing hip hinging before a lot of spinal flexion and extension. Neutral spine, with the hip hinge. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, next, cat and dog. So you round up like the cat shape. And then relax into the extension shape. Now this is not a delineation that's always made. You sometimes hear cat, cow, right? Cat's still the same pose, but then this one's cow. I mean, to really try to break it down in the animal world, cows have this sort of shape, as I'm sure you all know, just sort of naturally hanging out in the pasture. Where the dog move is more of like an active stretch into extension. So if you really wanted to apply that, you could either have your extension be like a very relaxed, I just chose to let go of glutes and belly, and it's more like a cow just hanging out. Or you can try to put more of an intentional curve in it, more like a dog actually, doing this stretch. I personally kind of like the cow version, just a little more relaxed, but they're both cool. Last couple, everybody. Dog tilt, cat tilt. Dog tilt, cat tilt. Okay. So now that we did recently, but one we don't do a ton of, let that tail wag. Almost to the point where you release off of one knee. Right, oh my God, that feels so good. There's that stretch into the upper outer hip. There's some curve in your low back. Oh, there's some stretch in that low back. Oh my God, that one feels great. I cautioned this last time we approached the next variation on this theme. You want to make sure it feels okay in your knees and likely too that you've got sufficient padding on whatever ground you're on. And obviously flexibility permitting. But you could drop the hips all the way to the side, right, where they literally touch the ground. That's going to put a little more twist in your spine. More things have to accommodate to make this one happen, but it feels great. And if you've done one of the last few weeks worth of classes, you might have hit this, but other than that, we've never done it before. Oh, last one. Wow, that feels so darn good. All right, let's come up to all twos up on the knees. We're making our way to standing, I promise. And what we're going to do, again, this one, you just got to accommodate if your knees are not happy with this guy. You can sit back on your shin foot a little more. But you want to get one leg straight, one leg at this 90-degree angle. Like ideally, this bent leg is feeling a little stretch through the quad and the glutes fired. And then on this long leg, you're going to hinge until you get that hamstring response you're looking for. Oh. So now we kind of went away from the stretch on the grounded leg, and we're really reinforcing what's happening on this long leg. Now this is an accommodation or a place where you might need accommodation, like hands up on blocks. Maybe your hands can't even come down to blocks on the ground, and it's better to just do it from here. But last couple breaths, everybody. You are trying to get a little lift in the tail, sort of like the cow tilt, kind of relaxed in the belly and the glutes, and just looking for feedback through the back of this long leg. Wow. Okay, so we're going to come up and reset. 2 knees on the ground, just one time on the other side. Straighten the leg. Hinge from your hips. Free the tail. hands try to find the floor. Oh my gosh, feels tighter on this side. All right. Angle of the foot, kind of up to you, but it's going to feed the calf a little differently depending on how you angle the foot. I don't think anyone's going to miss the hamstring stretch. Last couple big breaths here. This is like a baby warm-up version of the splits. And really just a classic hamstring opener. All right, everybody, let's release that. Let's come up to the shins and knees. We're almost up. We're going to bring the right foot forward. We're going to bring the hands down. So remember, those wrist accommodations are always still there. And then it's different, obviously, from here than from traditional non-lungy all fours. But try the full-bodied cat-dog tilt. So cat tilt, dog tilt. Let your back round, kind of tip that pelvis backward. And then let the rim around the pants tilt forward and get more extension. Which may be hard to find that extension, but get what you can. Last couple. Flex. Extend. Flex. Oh my God. Extend. Last one. Oh, goodness, that feels good. Last time, second side. So we're putting the cat and dog tilt movements together into a version of the lunge, essentially. So you get the lunge, get the wrists happy, flick the tail up, find your expression of the dog or the cow, and then scoop that tail under, pull that belly in and up, let your back round, tuck the head, find your expression of cat. Cow and cat. Extension and flexion. Rim around your waist tilting forward with a stuck-up tail. Or a rim around the waist pulling back with a scooped in tail. Last two. Oh, God, that feels so good. Last one. Ooh, mercy. From here, everybody, ultimately transition however you like, but feel free to just use this lunge as a way to stand. All right. We're up. We made it. Let's take the feet a little wider than the hips. Let's take the hands like right up to the hips. And just get acclimated to being upright. About 5 big breaths here. So have the pose narrow enough that it still feels really stable, but just wide enough that it feels, feels kind of wide, maybe even a little bit of a stretch. Huh? Then to transition, not going far from here, but just little transitions. Let your feet turn out a little more. You probably won't get much wider, but the angle of the feet changes just a little bit. Tip at your hips, slightly forward. So now I've got ever so slight diagonal instead of straight up and down with my back. But that's only because I've hip hinged. Technically, the shape of my back, if you saw it in an x-ray, same as when I was upright. But we added this little hip hinge. Let the knees bend a little deeper. Keep the ribs and the belly strong enough that you could take a little slap. Roll the collarbones back. Tuck those arms in. And for about 20 slow, deep breaths, just be in this horse stance. Really feeling it out from top to bottom. I.e., head's well aligned. Shoulders are well aligned. Trunk's active. Belly strong enough to feel engaged. Relaxed enough to receive breath. You're sitting down into the hips and even biasing the hips a little bit backward so that the really strong part of your hips and your glutes can do some work. But the legs are wide. The knees are bent. Quads are working. Inner thighs are working. The feet are working to just stay anchored on the ground. About 6 more full breaths here. Obviously, you're coming out as you need to, everybody, but sink in there, commit to it as you can. Again, if you're holding the reins, about like you're up on the horse and your heels are on the side of the horse or in the stirrups, wherever they go. All right, last few breaths here. Oh, it's great shape. Okay, so to transition out, we didn't go too far in, so we don't have too far to go. Hands back to the hips. Straighten the knees any amount they bend. Walk the feet back to the point where they face straight ahead. And then do one forward bend from your hips. Which is going to kind of shift the legs from strength mode to stretch mode. Let the hands come down. Oh, that feels good. All right. Then with one hand coming down in the center, under the nose rather than under the shoulder, reach the opposite arm out like a wing. And just go very gently and easily into the twist, but turn your trunk and your head toward the outstretched arm. Rotate the arm and the trunk that it's attached to up toward the sky any amount that feels green lit. One more breath here. Oh, yeah. And then ease back to a two-handed support system, one under each shoulder. One time only, new side. New hand comes under the nose. New arm goes out like a wing. Gently, easily. But, express your full version of the pose. Rotate. And then lastly, everybody, come on back to center. Put a little tiny bend in your knees. Transition the hands up to the hips. Ring up your torso. Whew. Let's bring the feet back together and just reset for a second. All right. Okay, so that was a quick reset. All right, I just didn't want to hold this in the wide leg pose too long. We're coming back to this wide setup one more time. We're moving into the Cossack squats. So a little more advanced here. Here's the deal, everybody. You're gonna catch with your finger and your thumb, one wrist, and you're gonna flex that set of arms overhead. No? So basically one arm / one hand is just holding the other one there. Then we're going to bias the torso slightly forward, put a little bend in the hips, a little bend in the knees, a little bend at the hips. Then what we're going to do is bend exclusively into one leg whilst keeping the opposite leg straight. So I've got a bend where knee sits over ankle, and I've got a straight. And then I'm going to switch. Okay, so that was one repetition. See if you can do 10 without really stopping. Two. Three. Now the transition moments are key. When you're transitioning from side to side, your bent leg is going to push you over to the new side. In addition, your straight leg is going to pull you over a little. So there's a little bit of muscular work via the push transition, and there's a little via the pull transition. Last couple, you can switch your wrists. Come out of the stute early if you need to. It's intended to cook, though. Oh, man. Got a couple bonus ones in here to make sure we got about 8 on each side. Last one. And release. Oh, that's such a good one. All right. Next, we're going to try a combo. I'll give you one piece at a time. The combo is really where it's at. Hinge from your hips, any amount. Come up. 2 more times. Hinge from your hips, any amount, and come up. 1 more time. Hinge from your hips, any amount, and come up. Twice per leg. Catch 1 foot behind you. And just be there. New leg. Catch. Be there. And release. 1 more time per leg. I mean, you might be looking at the screen and then out in front of you, but to the degree you're able to, find a gazing spot somewhere out in the distance, and that'll usually help you lock down the balance. Last time, second side. All right. So hopefully it wasn't too slow in coming. Now let's get that combo. So the combo is going to be this leg position with the forward bend. So new side, first time bringing them together. So really what you can do is just use this free arm and maybe just touch the ground. Maybe just go a little bit down and forward. Try it 3 or 4 times. Woo. Right? So, you know, the regression, not that that's bad, but just doing a little bit that you can control, something like this one. Or hinge further, where now you're kind of testing your straight leg hamstring strength and flexibility. Or go to the one where you actually just touch the ground. Yeah? Let's switch legs. So you've got the one leg in Virasana. You got the Uttanasana, or the hip hinge, or the single leg kind of deadlift style. You just flirt with the hip hinge as option 1. Hip hinge until it feels like your hamstrings give you a little stretch. Response. Or, and you might even bypass the hamstrings a little bit by bending the leg, just go to the ground with the hand and try to control that movement. Okay? Last 2. Oh, man. That is so good. Okay, that was a little sloppy coming out of it. Let's go back to side 1 one more time, just to make sure we're on point with this guy. You could even hold with 2 hands and just try to pause. You can go back to the little folds, or you can go back to the tap. Last one, everybody. Okay. Final go at this set of exercises on the new side. So you've got half of Virasana, standing version. 3 or 4 options. Hold with 2 hands and hinge. Hold with 1 hand and hinge. Hold with 1 hand and tap the floor. Hold it out at a, like Virabhadrasana 3 angle. Catch it with 2 hands if you like. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's challenging. Last go. Goodness, everybody, it's such a solid exercise. Man. All right, so let's come back and basically revisit our opening standing pose. We're not going to come all the way into the horse. We'll stop one stage sooner. Just that comfortably wide. Feet straight ahead-ish. This time, one big, huge difference from round 1 is get the hands behind you. The hands can be like this with splayed heels of hands. The hands can bind if your shoulders are more flexible. Hinge at your hips so you feel inner thighs and hamstrings. Release up, oh God, upward and forward with shoulders, with arms. Keeping the heels of the hands together, everybody, is significantly more challenging than letting them splay. Both can work. Couple big breaths here. From here, everybody, shift hands onto hips, hands onto the ground. Set your left knee down, reach your right leg out. Oh, and just hinge backward a little bit and back to neutral. So this is a little bit like the pushing and pulling we did before we did cat and cow, except we've got one leg out. Oh, God. That feels amazing. Couple more rocks. Oh. Whoa. And then let's switch legs. Goodness. Okay. Oh. Now, when you rock, it's probably going to be pretty intense, and might be the only thing you really feel is the stretch through the inner upper straight leg. But you might feed this bent leg hip a little bit. You might even flick the bent leg foot a little wider. Oh, you're not necessarily trying to do a bunch of cat and dog at this point. It's more that push-pull movement. Oh. Last one. Oh my God, that feels so good. All right. Next. This one definitely helps to have the padding that I happen to be blessed with here, this big thick grass. But accommodate as need be. So you can triple up your mat right under your knees. You could use a blanket. You could do this from your back if need be. This is actually one that we did on our very last session. So, the frog pose. Oh, gosh. So the knees go wide. The feet go a little wider than wherever the knees wind up. The hips release down and slightly back. Oh. That's intense. 10 big breaths here. Four or five more breaths. If it's just way too intense, you just climb further out of the pose, right? Knees closer together, maybe more weight in your hands. If you need more intensity, it's unlikely, but you could shift your hips further back. Could even take the hips further apart. Okay. When you're ready to get on out of there, we're going to wrap the right leg in front of the left. We're going to extend the left leg back. So we're in a good old pigeon pose. If you didn't get that transition, kind of slid into it quickly. And then we're just going to hinge down. And it's optional to bend the back leg. So if you want to bring that back leg bend from that balancing work into the pigeon, you can. Otherwise, just focus on the pigeon leg. Generally, this is a pretty intense stretch. There are ways you can relax into it, but this one's probably pretty close to most folks' edge. Certainly close to mine. So to get out of here, then we'll do the final side. Oh, God. Release. All fours. New leg wraps in front. New leg pushes back. Sink into the new pigeon leg. That's plenty to chew on. But it's also fine, either less intensity here by just kind of shifting, or an equal amount of intensity with back leg and front leg. Ooh. Oh. That is good business right there. Get on out of here. No hurry. Certainly if you caught the back leg this way, you're going to want to release that. Maybe even just lean on over toward the pigeon leg. And then get on out of there. Let's come to a seat. We're going to bend the knees in. We're going to rest the hands along the side. We're almost transitioning into corpse. And we're going to lift one foot up. This one can be a little sneaky. Then switch. And switch. And switch. Last addition. First leg. See if you can get her straight. New leg. See if you can get her straight. Straight. Oh, that's intense. Straight. Last one. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Next, everybody, we're transitioning onto our backside. So, please find your way down onto your back. Last pose here before we really turn into rest mode, shift into Shavasana. Reach one straight leg up till you feel it at its edge. You can hold it. You can shift it off to one side a little, or you can just let it be. Guess that most of you will probably want to do this one, but ultimately it's optional. You can add the twist here and let that cap it off. If you don't want to do the big twist, just keep the leg drawn in toward the chest and just go for the hamstring stretch. Especially if you're in the twist, no hurry. But transition as you're ready. Get that going on the new side. At least the leg up till you get a little feedback. Maybe that leg goes out or across. You play it how you wish. But if you want to finish with a twist, then just let that leg twist across. Oh, goodness. Again, particularly if you're in the twist version, slowly take your time coming back. Hug both knees in. And then this will be about 2 minutes of pre-corpse. We're going to go right back to where we started. In the very, very beginning. Knees together, feet apart. This time we're going to fold the hands onto the ribs. And just follow about 12 deliberate breaths. deliberate might not even be the right word. Intentionally notice breathing happen. So you're welcome to explore a breath that feels like it's just manifesting. That in a sense you're not controlling it top down, but you're watching it. One of my teachers, Erich, Schiffmann, used this analogy. It's sort of like you're the traffic reporter in the helicopter. You're not controlling the traffic, but you get up and out of it and notice it, witness it. Once you've borne witness to a dozen or so breaths, then just find your way into the most comfortable version of Shavasana. Right? Get it adjusted so it's comfortable in your legs, at your neck. Find a palatable shape for your arms. And whatever focal point you had set for your attention, we tend to narrow it when we bring attention to breathing. Let that attention just get set to as wide a focus as possible. And for about 5 minutes, we'll relax in Shavasana. Vajra Guru Siddhi. Om Mehum Vajra Guru Siddhi. So, please take your time, always during these transition points. But do make your way up to any comfortable seat. So that chant, kind of a cool one, something along the lines of everything's interconnected and it's all kind of part of who I am. That's not the best translation. One thing that I often think of, and some of you guys have probably heard this before, when Carl Sagan's asked, like, what does it take to make an apple pie? It's like the whole universe, right? Or some people make the analogy of, you know, the sliced apple in the lunchbox. It took rain and sun and a planet and an atmosphere and soil and time and water and a farmer and a truck and a delivery person and a knife and the compassion and love of the parent who prepared it and put it in the lunchbox. That's kind of what the chant says about us. You know, we're this whole ball of wax, just expressed as each one of us. Anyway, the universe in a slice of apple pie, or the universe expressed in each one of us. Anyway, yoga's trying to get us to feel this interconnection, this merger, this point of joined with the wider cosmos. So any way you can reinforce it. Anyway, thanks so much for coming, everybody. I hope the broadcast was smooth, and I hope it felt good to do yoga. Namaste.